Hey y'all, my name is Taylor. If you've never met me in real life before, I put out new videos every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you haven't already, go ahead and click that red subscribe button so you can follow along on my journey. In today's What I Eat Wednesday video, I'm going to be talking about why I'm no longer vegan. Now, I have a couple reasons as to why I'm no longer vegan. A few of them are very surface level, convenience level, and then I have one major reason that I'll share at the end that really is the cornerstone as to why I'm no longer vegan. And so I hope that you'll stay tuned and hear me out and see where my heart's coming from and as to why I'm no longer vegan, because I got a lot of flack for going vegan and then I got a lot of flack for no longer being vegan. So there really is just no when. I have to do what's best for me and what I feel best. I went vegan after watching the What the Health documentary. If you haven't watched it below, I'd really encourage you to do so. But the health aspects in that video really triggered me and made me think about, hey, I should do this for my body. What ended up happening was that I lost 40 pounds very rapidly, which was great because I could have stood to lose those 40 pounds and I felt great, y'all. My body was thriving. My body felt like I was doing with it what I should have been doing with it all along, and I really did enjoy the lifestyle for the most part. As the time went on, I began to become more of a cheap, lazy, convenience vegan. When I first went vegan, I was eating all the plants and grains and natural things, and then I started to eat all those faux meats, eat all the fake cheeses, which those things are fine, but I was literally being just unhealthy, which wasn't the point of me going vegan in the first place. The three reasons that kind of made this come to a head: number one is that it made people uncomfortable. Now, I don't need any hate because I know I'm not here to live my life to make other people comfortable. However, there are certain situations in people where you're not trying to make uncomfortable, and it's like people didn't know what to do with me. There is a lot of stigma against veganism. People don't know what to feed you. Even if you try to bring something, they don't know what to do. And it just began to get very tedious. Eating out with my friends was very hard, especially being in Mississippi and North Dakota where there's not options as there are in places like California or New York. It began to make people uncomfortable, and people were constantly worried about trying to make sure I could eat, or on the other end, people just had no consideration for the fact that there was literally nothing I could eat at that restaurant. And so it was just hard to balance having a social life with being vegan. The second reason I'm no longer vegan, which actually is one of the larger reasons, so to speak, is that it was very, very hard for my family. So Christmas 2 years ago, I was vegan, and my mother went out of her way to veganize our traditional family recipes. She made me like a pot pie that she showed up to the airport with, and she was so excited. She asked me about things beforehand. She did her own research, really went out of her way to try to make sure that I could enjoy our Christmas foods and our family foods in general as a vegan. But she messed up. She put ghee into just about everything. If you don't know, ghee is clarified butter. My mom thought that that meant that it wasn't an animal byproduct. She didn't quite understand it. At that point, I just felt like such a jerk because my mom had went through all of these hoops to make sure that I was comfortable at Christmas and that I had things to eat, and she had messed up. And so to not eat that, I felt like was very disrespectful because maybe I had gone wrong and not educated her in the right way. But it was hard and it was challenging. I did end up eating that pot pie because she had put all this effort into it, and she had made one for the family and one for me. So there was literally a whole other dish for just about everything we made that was just for me. To not eat that, it's at that point, do you sacrifice the feelings of your family? That's kind of a hard decision to make, and I don't want anyone to pull like the animal comment because yes, like I understand that, but I also don't want to upset my mother. And just to backtrack a little bit, just to make this all make a little more sense, is that when I went vegan, it was because the main reason was health, and then it kind of transformed into the fact that I really did not like the way that we raise meat in America. I don't like the way that we inject these animals with antibiotics and medicines, that we keep them impregnated, that just the way the whole system, I think, is whack and unsustainable. And then the ethics portion began to kind of come in, and I was like, this just is not going to last us the way that we think it's going to last. Not to mention, like I said, the health thing. You just look at the cancer and the heart and all of that kind of stuff. It's just like mind-boggling that we consume so much of it. But what was really the catalyst for me to decide that I would no longer be vegan was this point. If you watch my channel at all, you know that I am a Christian and I try my best to live my life by God's word. I fail daily, but I do strive to do so, and He helps me in the areas that I lack. If you read the Bible, eating meat is biblical. Now, you have to take into account that the way humans produced meat in the biblical times is very different from now. They did not mass produce animals. They did not bulk them up so quickly so that they could kill them. If there was an animal and they were hungry, they ate it. Meat was not the whole portion of the food. You know, it was a little bit of meat followed by all your grains and vegetables and everything else. Whereas if you look at the standard American diet, the meat is the main portion of the meal, and then you have like 2 pieces of broccoli, maybe, and some potato. It's very different. It's kind of hard to compare because the way that they ate meat is not the way that we eat meat today, but it is biblical. That's when I said, if I'm trying to follow God's word, you know, there's some things there, and I was convicted in the fact that you can't change God's words to suit your needs or to suit your lifestyles. Again, like I said, I do think you have to take into account that people have changed, and the way people raise meat now is not what God intended, I don't believe. And that's my own personal opinion. You don't have to agree with that. But short story long, I am now a vegetarian, so I don't eat meat. However, I have taken the stance that I live in the South, everyone hunts. I have taken the stance that if I should marry someone who is a hunter and kills their own meat, then at that point I may revisit whether or not I want to eat meat. Because I think that is the most sustainable way. It's not pumped full of hormones. Like, the hormone issue is a whole other thing. You know, there's not all these other issues at play, and I think that that's how God intended for us to eat meat. And so I have said, if my husband is a hunter, I will revisit whether or not I'm willing to eat meat. Right now, my body is thriving on a vegetarian diet. I'm not eating the meat. I feel good about that. But I am partaking in some animal byproducts, so it's easier for me and it's easier for everyone around me, and that's a concession that I'm willing to make. You know, I do think I'm really helping with animal suffering. Am I doing it all the way? No, but I'm taking a step, and I think that that's important, and that's where I'm at. And I hope that y'all can respect that and just acknowledge that I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm doing what I think is best for me. These opinions may change. And just to kind of clarify, at home, I'm still pretty much vegan. Like, I do have, like, my creamer is milk-based now, but I'm pretty much vegan. But out to eat, I'm like vegetarian. Like, a lot of things have sauce and whatnot in it. So just keep that in mind. You know, I'm just doing the best I can. I'm living a life that's more fulfilling to me, but that I also think helps cut back on suffering. And I also think that it aligns with the Bible in a way that suits me and the Lord, and I feel at peace with it, and that's all that really matters. Those are the 3 primary reasons as to why I'm no longer vegan. I don't know that this will always be the answer, but right now I really enjoy the way I eat, and I don't see a reason to change. Like I said, if I get married one day, maybe I will see that reason, but right now it's not the time. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing. I hope y'all liked this video, or that it was informative to you in some way. Thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. Leave in the comments below what kind of diet you eat, what that looks like. Are you paleo? Are you vegetarian, vegan? Are you carnivore, keto? What do you subscribe to, and why do you do that? Because I I think a lot of times we look at little pieces of research and we don't look at the big picture. So we see that this will help me lose weight quick, and you do that, but you don't realize the implications that that has on your body. So leave in the comments below what you're eating and why. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye!